The recent mass shootings, of course, can have a huge impact on our feelings of safety and security.
So what should you and your children do during an active shooter scenario? Joining us live to talk about that is safety expert Adam Coughran. He's the president of Safe Kids, Inc. And you're from here, Orange County, or a police officer?
Yeah.
And this comes out of real experience.
It really does. You know, I was being asked so many times as a police officer teaching active shooter survival. What about our kids? How do we engage with our 5-year-olds or our 4th or 5th graders? And I really didn't have an answer. And it was a question that a lot of parents, I think a lot of teachers still have.
So what do you tell them? You go into classrooms, and of course this is going to vary by age group, right? Elementary school versus how you talk to high schoolers.
Correct. And it's really, we want to engage the students in a curriculum. And for us, we really engage the teachers to engage their students through lesson plans and stories and narratives. But as parents, even engaging in the conversation, it's really how do you talk in a story to younger kids? How do you engage and get their feelings on what they think is going on in the world, their anxieties versus our older kids, where we engage with what can you do as an older child?
What are some simple things that people can say when their kids are aware of all the stress and anxiety going on, just about the fear of what could happen?
With elementary students, we really talk about people who hurt and people who help, and having a conversation about harmful people or hurtful people, and sharing it with their stories. So in their stories of villains and superheroes, what is a villain to them and someone who's hurtful? And then relating that to real life. If someone hurtful finds us when we're at the mall or when we're at the park, what do we do as a family?
You said you were inspired to start this organization 4 years ago because you responded to an active shooter type situation. It was a false alarm, but you went in there and you just saw all these little people staring back at you.
Yeah, you know, as a police officer, we were so often tasked in going in and trying to stop these, and often by ourselves. And walking through a lockdown and trying to find 2 people on a school campus and watching the looks of students back to the windows, not knowing if I was the good person or the bad person. You know, that really broke my heart. And understanding that students now are very aware of the world, regardless of their age, and let's give them some tools to try to fight that fear.
And personally, and a lot of my friends feel a little more guarded when we go out. I've been bringing pepper spray. I'm looking for exits. Is this normal? Is this things we should be thinking about? You
know, really parents now, we're on heightened awareness, right? So that we're so concerned of every loud bang or loud noise when we're out. And what I tell parents is just to be vigilant. You know, and I think you're on the right path to understand where the exits are, have a plan depending on the age of your child on what to do or to grab them or to run, but also talk to the children. You know, we talk about obey without delay. If you know, mommy's scared or daddy's scared or mom or dad tells you to do something, let's do it, and let's do it right away.
Okay. Do you think, and I know we have to wrap up pretty quickly here, but is there any sense, and what you're doing is so great to have these conversations, but is there any downside to normalizing this type of thing, to making it seem that this happens so often? I don't know, maybe giving someone the idea that, hey, you know, it just seems so normal out there. And I don't know, is there that sense that you get at all?
Well, this generation is growing up with a very unique problem to what any of us grew up with. And in our high school students, we hear them from themselves. We are the generation of active shooters. And we see it at every age group that students are realizing something's happening. So like we treat a fire drill or an earthquake drill, we normalize other dangers in life to some degree. This, unfortunately, now we believe is the next normalization of a danger in life.
Sadly.
It's too bad. Well, Safe Kids, Inc., that's your company. Thank you so much, Adam, for joining us.
Thank you both.